Hello everyone, my name is Jimmy and welcome to The Last Lap. In today's video we're going to be breaking down some news that came out this week, and we're going to be providing our predictions for this week at COTA, Circuit of the Americas. NASCAR is going to return for their second year of racing there, so we're going to break down everything you guys need to know, who you need to look out for. But before we hop into it, I just want to remind you guys to hit that like button and subscribe button. We would greatly appreciate it. And you hit that little bell to notify you when we upload a video. Like this past week, we uploaded our Atlanta review a day or two late, unfortunately. So if you guys have the bell pushed, you would know when we upload and all that kind of stuff. But now we're going to hop straight into it. As always, I have my friend and co-host Matthew on the show. And we got a big announcement this week in the NASCAR world, a pretty big penalty that was handed out. And we're going to preview COTA. So Matthew has a feel to be back on the show, ready to return to COTA for a much sunnier race weekend, hopefully this year.
Well, I'm so excited to go back to Circuit of the Americas, one of my favorite tracks on the schedule. It's definitely my favorite road course on the schedule, and that place is just amazing. With the elevation changes, with the sharp turns, the long straightaways, the sidewinders, and even the 200-foot observation tower there. So I'm excited for this weekend. The first next-gen race with their first next-gen race on a road course. So we're going to see faster lap times. I think the racing is going to be better than what we have seen in any in NASCAR, since these cars are mostly made for road course racing. So I cannot wait for this weekend, and it better not be raining, because we don't need any short. We don't need the race called off shortly like last time.
Yeah, there's a lot of anticipation going into this week at COTA. It's the second race there. The forecast looks good, so hopefully we'll get a full race in without any weather issues. It's the first road course race for the next gen car, so a lot of exciting things happening this weekend in Texas. But before we hop into that, there was a major penalty announced today. I don't know what level tier penalty it is. If I can find that, I'll post that in the video.
It was a level 2 penalty.
Level 2 penalty. Thank you, Matthew, for clarifying that for me. I was at work all day, so, well, not all day, but all night, so I'm a little woo. But, so, yeah, Brad Keselowski, RFK Racing was the first major penalty of this year. NASCAR announced before the season started that they were going to change their level penalties, and they stuck to it. RFK Racing, they made a modification, apparently, to the rear of the race car that NASCAR did not like, and for that, they handed down the L2 penalty, which is going to be 100 driver points docked, 10 playoff points docked if he makes the playoffs, fined $100,000, and his crew chief is suspended for 4 races. So, I mean, NASCAR, they gotta stick up for what they said, and they did just that. I think this sends a big message to the rest of NASCAR, all the teams, saying, you can't mess with these next-gen cars, the bodies, or else you'll get hit with a pretty big penalty. So RFK Racing is the first team to unfortunately bite the bullet there and take a penalty. Hopefully we don't see too much of this throughout the rest of the season. It's kind of coincidental too, because Brad Keselowski's car is one of the ones that was taken back to the R&D center after Atlanta last week. Chase Elliott was the other car. Those 2 cars got taken back to the research center to get evaluated, and NASCAR saw something on Brad's car they didn't like, so went ahead and dropped the hammer on him. So that's the first big penalty of the year. That's all I really have to say about it. So, Matthew, what do you got to say about this big penalty coming from NASCAR to RFK Racing?
Well, the simple way to start off, Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing just screwed up big time. Well, I want to just say bravo to NASCAR for, at least when they announced earlier this season that they were going to be really harsh with the penalties and trying to enforce the spec car part of this racing, which I love, especially. I know there's traditionalists out there that are like, oh, I love them when they can just craft the best cars with the chassis, blah blah blah. But I love what I've seen. It's all about driver talent now and how good your pit crew is now. And we've seen it, especially with Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez from Trackhouse. They have stepped it up. Eric Jones has stepped it up. And even 2311 Racing with Kurt Busch. has stepped it up as well. But yeah, this was definitely big. I mean, to say the least. I mean, NASCAR did say, they better not do anything, change anything with these cars, or they're gonna be harsh. I mean, you got basically the same car everyone has, from Rick Hendrick to Rick Ware Racing has the same exact car. It's all about which driver you have in that car now, and it's all about what kind of setup you put in that car and what kind of pit crew you have on the pit box. So you got the car, you got the same cars. It's all about you now. And I guess Keselowski thought it was a good idea to push the boundaries a little bit. I mean, it's like Jimmy. It's just like me, like back in high school days. When the teacher is like, "You better not be looking on people's tests while you're taking your tests, or that's gonna be a 0, and you're in detention." That's basically how it is now with these spec cars. You do you got a fair opportunity. If you try to cheat, do something stupid, that's gonna be a harsh penalty. So basically, what happens now is Keselowski is basically in like 35th in points now. He's in a deep hole, and he's already been terrible this year. Besides Daytona, I mean, it surprised me how bad he has been this season. I mean, his teammate Chris Buescher has more top 10s than Brad Keselowski. Who would have thought that? Who said that by now? I mean, can't believe it. So, and maybe that team will improve the second half of the season, but right now they have looked awful. I mean, Brad Keselowski, man, and Chris Buescher's been pretty solid so far, but Brad Keselowski has been awful. I mean, I knew it was going to be a little bit of a learning curve, but I didn't think it would be this bad. And now he's probably not even going to make the playoffs now. If he doesn't win Talladega or Daytona, that's the only race I think he can win at this point, considering the fact that we haven't seen barely any speed on the mile and a half or Auto Club Phoenix. I mean, I just don't see him making the playoffs. Plain simple as that. But I mean, we'll see if he wins any other race. But right now, I don't think he's making the playoffs. And yeah, Brad Keselowski has had an absolute rough start to the year. I mean, his old car just went the victory lane in the Daytona 500. I mean, the first race with a different driver in that 2 car. And now he's gotten this penalty. It hasn't been a good year for Brad, so I hope they get this sorted out. Maybe if they appeal it, maybe they'll reduce the sentence a little bit. But yeah, it's not looking too good for the 6 team.
Yeah, I have the standings split up right here. Actually, he's 35th in points. He is 34 points back of 30th. So first he has to get into the top 30. And then I think as of right now, he's like 100 points back of 16th in the normal points. So he's got some work to do over the summer if he's going to try and point his way in. I think winning is going to be his best option at this point, being 100 points back of 16th. So
it's the definite option. There's no pointing his way in.
Yeah, he's going to have to do a lot of work. I don't think pointing his way in is an option. Maybe it is, just because it's so early in the season. A driver in the top 16 in points could have a pretty bad summer, and he could have a decent summer. I don't know, but I think this is the best case scenario for him to get this in the early part of the season rather than right heading into the playoffs, and then he loses 100 points and drops out the playoffs that way. So at least he has some time to make it up. Can he make it up? I'm not sure, but it's going to be interesting. But yeah, NASCAR dropping the hammer there. Some very quick news as well is that there's going to be some Cup drivers racing in the other races in COTA this weekend. I believe the Truck and Xfinity race are both on Saturday. So first, in a truck race, Alex Bowman and Kyle Busch, they will be racing in those races. A little bit of a, Las Vegas 2.0, if you don't say. Maybe Alex Bowman can hack his way into another win, or maybe Kyle Busch can get a redemption and win in the truck race. Maybe, but those 2 drivers will be racing there. And then the Xfinity Series Out the top of my head, I know Bubba Wallace and Cole Custer will be racing. I think that's all of the Cup drivers for all 4
Ross
series.
Chastain will be in there too.
Oh, Ross Chastain as well. Okay. Yeah, so there's some Cup drivers racing in those lower series. Should make the races a little more interesting. I know Bubba Wallace for sure will benefit from the Xfinity race because he's been not really that good on road courses, so maybe that'll help him out. But yeah, Matthew, do you have anything quick to say about the some of these Cup drivers racing, or should we go and hop into our predictions?
I like how you're hyping up Bowman and Busch for no reason when they're cool with each other now.
Hey, you said it yourself when you found out Alex Bowman was racing. You told me, you were like, "Oh man, the hack, is he gonna get another win?" Or you're like, "It's Las Vegas all over again."
Oh, there's a way he's gonna hack something. That's always a possibility, but it just increases the chance of the Cup guys winning this weekend. I don't think Xfinity and the Cup guys will win, but trucks for sure. Yeah, for sure. Whether it's Kyle Bowman, I don't know, but maybe Kyle, because Alex Bowman's driving a Spire truck, and that's only that team's second start, so they might be a little bit rusty, but I'm not sure. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Cole Custer take the 07 Xfinity car to victory lane, so if he could do that, I don't see why Alex Bowman
Well, that was
can't take
basically
the
a second Stewart-Haas car. I mean, basically, it was a Stewart-Haas car, but the small team basically took all the credit.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, those are just a few Cup drivers racing this weekend. It'll be interesting to see if the Truck and Xfinity stars can give those drivers a run for their money for those races. But we're going to hop into some predictions now for COTA. For the Cup Series, we're going to give you guys a few drivers to watch out for this week in case you guys are playing fantasy or just looking to see who's going to run well this week. So I guess I'll go first, and I'm going to pick 3 Chevys that you're going to need to watch.
I already know who they are.
Matthew probably already knows all of these, actually. So I'm going to get the elephant out of the room here and say Chase Elliott. He is obviously one to watch. He won COTA last year, and every time you go to a road course, you have to be watching out for Chase Elliott. Second one, another obvious one, Kyle Larson, his teammate. He ran very well at the road courses last season. You have to watch out for him, too. He's been off to a great start this year. The third one I'm going to say is AJ Allmendinger. He is also racing in the Colic car, and he won the Indianapolis road course race last year, which I was at, so that was really cool to see him get his second Cup win, his first at Indianapolis on the road course there. So AJ Allmendinger is going to be my third driver to watch. I could probably say a few more, but I'll go ahead and stop there, and Matthew, you can go ahead and give a few drivers to look out for as well.
Well, first of all, we all knew Kyle Larson would have won at COTA last year if it wasn't for NASCAR throwing out the rain caution when it was raining all day long. So, anyways. So, here's a couple picks I have. One of them is going to be Austin Cindric, the Daytona 500 winner. He raced part-time last year, and some of those races were on road courses. And last year in particular, he was actually leading some laps here at COTA. I mean, it wasn't because of luck or anything. He actually has some speed there. So I'm going to keep my eye on Austin Cindric. I'm going to keep my eye on Chase Briscoe as well. He's always been great on the road courses. Just look at the Indy road course last year. Almost won that one. So I'm going to keep my eye on Chase Briscoe. I'm going to keep my eye on Ross Chastain too. He has been on an absolute roll. 3 straight top 5s, and last year he was also led some laps at COTA. So I'm going to keep my eye on Ross Chastain as well. Let's see, was there anyone else I was thinking?
Martin Truex Jr. I think is one to watch. He's always pretty good at the road courses too.
He was. I'll keep my eye on Truex. But other than that, I think that's all I can think of.
Yeah, this is gonna be a tough week for our fantasy league because there's a lot of good road course options. So it'll be interesting to see who picks who and who ends up coming up top. I think we'll have very very similar lineups, so that'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the weekend. But yeah, I'm excited. This will be my first time watching the COTA race on TV because unfortunately I couldn't watch it last year. So I'm very excited to watch my first COTA race on TV, and hopefully my man can come out top once again. That'd be nice to see that happen. But hey, I mean, Chase Elliott is not.
Dream.
He's the only driver at Hendrick who has not won yet, but he is the points leader right now. So if he can hold that on, maybe he can get some extra playoff points. But
regular season.
Yeah, that's it for our. That's for our news and predictions. Matthew, do you have anything to say before we wrap the episode up?
Well, to be honest, I think Kyle Larson has more of a chance to win on a road course. Now, considering that Kyle Larson basically won 3 road courses last year, should have won 4 last year, but it is what it is. And Kyle Larson, especially last year, has become so much better on the road course. He wasn't like a bad road course racer before he joined Hendrick, but he wasn't the best. But now since he's with Hendrick, he's basically developed his road course skills to the max. So I think Kyle Larson's gonna be really the favorite in my opinion for this weekend, just because he's basically won like the last few road course races.
Yeah, I think Kyle Larson is starting to become one of, if not the best road course racers. I don't want to say that as a Chase Elliott fan, but I think they're very close right now.
Chase Elliott wasn't even the best in the first place. We know Jeff Gordon will always be the king of road courses.
I think this year will really determine, which one of those two is the new best at the road courses. Because there's 5 in the regular season, and then there's the rules in the playoffs. So,
well, I feel like if Jeff Gordon had way more road courses back in the day like we do today, I feel like he would have reached 100 wins, because Jeff Gordon was so amazing on road courses. I mean, the only one that could really compete with him on road courses was basically Tony Stewart. So I feel like Jeff Gordon would have had 100 wins if we had the many road courses that we do today, basically.
Yeah, back then it was just Watkins, Glen, and Sonoma on the schedule back then. So now we have 6 road courses on the schedule. So yeah, it's going to be a fun season on the road courses. I'm excited to see how the next gen car performs. But that's going to go ahead and wrap up this video. We hope you all enjoyed it. We'll come out with our review video hopefully on Monday. So make sure you stay tuned to our social media. Have that little notification bell hit so you guys know when we upload. But until next time, we will see you guys in our next video.